August is almost over, and that means the Kind of Funny Patreon pledge drive is about to wrap up. If you love what we do, please know we couldn't do it without your support on patreon.com/kindafunny, and it would mean the world to us if you tossed us a sub, even if it was just for a month.
What's up and welcome to Kinda Funny Games Daily for Friday, August 25th, 2023. Of course, I am your host, Tim Geddes, and today I am joined by Blessing Adeoye Jr.
Happy Armored Core Day, Tim.
Happy Armored Core Day to you. You reviewed it for us over on the Kinda Funny Games cast. People can watch that review right now.
Yeah. Let me tell you, I woke up this morning excited for people to have the game because that means that the online multiplayer servers are going to be up and I could actually play with people that aren't Mitchell Saltzman. And I was very excited because I have not only like the end game weapons, I have new game plus weapons.
Ooh.
Like I've beaten the game twice, so I've unlocked so much shit to bring into online. So I was expecting to go in and just fucking start dominating cats. And I joined a room in the first match, absolutely dominated. And then the second match, somebody else joins. I start playing them. And tell me why. This game came out this morning. This motherfucker already had end game weapons.
Oh my God.
It's a 20-hour video game.
Oh my God.
How the fuck do you already have end game weapons?
Is that what your weekend's going to look like?
No, because I got a review I'm doing. I got a review, yeah.
Bless,
But I might dip in here.
Bless, you're playing on PlayStation, right?
Yeah, I'm playing on PlayStation.
At one point, you and I, let's square up this weekend.
Let's do it. You know what? What if we do like a 3v3? Me, you, Andy Cortez. Take out the kids out there.
Ooh, I love that.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds fun.
Tear.
That could be fun.
Let's do it.
Happy Armored Core Day, everybody. Enjoy yourselves out there. Be safe.
Do you know what I see on my TikTok timeline now? I'll be scrolling through. Every now and then I'll see Andy Cortez playing Armored Core 6 live on TikTok, which I didn't know was a thing he did. I saw it and I was like, oh, Andy. I keep scrolling. I'll see cosplay transition videos or whatever. Of course.
Oh man, TikTok. What an adventure that is. Just like this show where we talk about video game news. Today's stories include Dragon Age Dreadwolf being internally delayed, rumors about God of War DLC, the snitch be snitching, and more because this is Kinda Funny Games Daily, where each and every weekday we come at you with all the video game news that you need to know. And we do it live on twitch.tv/kindafunnygames and youtube.com/kindafunnygames. If you can't watch live, that's totally cool. You can watch later on YouTube or roosterteeth.com. You can also listen by searching your favorite podcast service for Kinda Funny Games Daily, and we will be right there for you. If you wanted to go above and beyond, though, patreon.com/kindafunny is where you want to go. Just like our Patreon producers, Jedi Master Deadpool, Delaney Twining, and Logan Delaney have all done. We appreciate you all so very, very much. Speaking of Patreon, we got a whole bunch of cool stuff going on over there. Shit list episodes for days. Remember blanks, Kind of Feudies, Gregways. It's a great place to be. We also have some really, really, really fun stuff coming to Patreon on Monday. But you'll have to wait and see what that looks like. But trust me, it's going to be awesome, and you're going to want to be on patreon.com/kindafunny. Some other stuff for you. If you don't have bucks to toss our way, that's totally cool. If you're out on the Epic Game Store, use our Epic creator code KindaFunny, and at no extra cost to you. It benefits us. It's fantastic. It's revolutionary. It's just simply the best. Today, we're brought to you by BetterHelp, but I will tell you about that later. One little quick thing of housekeeping that I want to let you know. Normally we do the little post shows after Games Daily. Twitch is doing a fun Twitch bounty thing for Marvel Snap. So they're like, oh, we're trying to promote Marvel Snap being out on Steam. So we were trying to get y'all to play an hour of Marvel Snap on Twitch. And I was like, sign me up. It's been a while. So, hey, don't expect anything great. Don't expect any expert gameplay at all. My little tagline is Tim Geddes, absolute garbage. So set your expectations right. But after Games Daily, let's hang out and play some Snap, motherfuckers.
Oh, Snap.
Snap. Speaking of fun stuff, playing some Marvel Snap, fun stuff going up on Patreon on Monday. Something else fun dropped today over on youtube.com/kindafunny. Tim, tell us about it.
Are you talking about Saw in review?
Oh, yeah, baby.
Oh, if it's Halloween, it must be Saw. Thank you for the reminder there, Barrett. God, it is absolutely terrifying. That is, of course, Jigsaw mixed with Nick Scarpino, because Cameron Kennedy is a monster. But yeah, Alfredo Diaz is joining me, Joey, and Andy Cortez and Nick for Saw in review. Andy, convinced that Saw's not a horror franchise. I love him. What a silly, silly man he is. But Saw Episode 1 is out now. We're going to be doing all 10 of the Saw movies leading into Halloween. So get excited about that. Saw 1, what a movie. What a time capsule of 2004, bless.
2004.
Yeah. $1 million budget for that
How does it
movie.
age?
I mean, simultaneously incredibly well and horribly. But
Okay.
like, you know,
Okay.
Saw's fucking awesome.
Fuck,
It's
I might watch it along
It's
with you guys.
fucking
It's
awesome.
been a while since I watched
it's a roller coaster of quality in terms of the
course.
franchise.
But
I've
never watched all the Saws. In fact,
Okay.
I probably only watched a couple, and like I never watched them on purpose.
Yeah.
It was always on at somebody's house, and I'm just like, all right, I guess we're gonna watch this fucked up shit.
It's real fucked up. It's real good though. But yeah, you can watch along. The majority of the movies are on Amazon Prime, so you guys can check them out and watch along with us as we're doing it. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun so far, and the interview episode is absolutely hilarious. Nick goes off the rails in a way only Nick Scarpino can.
Can I tell you that every single time I look at the conference monitor, I see the both of us just wearing all black.
All black.
I keep getting reminded of, like, I think it was the season 5 promotional image for Agents of Shield, where it was the season where everybody was emo and fucked up, and like this is what it looks like.
Damn, that is us right now.
Yeah, that's us right now.
I'm hot, man. I'm gonna take it off. And
You are hot, Tim.
I'll add some pink to the set.
Oh, look at that!
I mean-
Look at that!
Well, it's very white under there. A little pink over there. I didn't expect that much of a color difference.
Yeah,
if I'm being
no.
completely honest. It doesn't look like that in real life.
Oh, see,
I assure you.
Is it this one?
It's not this one, but this is probably a good
I'll
representation.
keep looking.
Of it.
I'll keep looking.
I can send it to you.
I looked up season 5. That's what season 5 looks like. Maybe it's season 6.
It might
How
be
many
season
seasons
4?
Does go?
Oh, there's a lot of seasons.
Too many seasons.
Most is pretty good.
Okay.
No, yeah, most of them are. Listen, I'll stand by that. Most of the seasons they aren't all good, but some of them really good. Most of them really good.
Let's begin with what is and forever will be the Roper Report. It's time for some news. We have 5 stories today.
A Baker's dozen.
Story number 1. Dragon Age Dreadwolf keeps getting delayed internally. This is reporting, a claim. A report claims. I don't know why I did it that way. This comes from Tom Ivan at VGC. Dragon Age Dreadwolf's release keeps getting pushed back internally at BioWare. That's according to Giant Bomb reporter Jeff Grubb, who said on Thursday that he discussed behind-the-scenes goings-ons at the EA studio with unnamed sources following the news that BioWare is making a new round of layoffs. Earlier this week, BioWare General Manager Gary McKay said the company would be cutting approximately 50 roles as part of a shift towards becoming a more agile and focused studio. Grubb's sources claimed Dragon Age Dreadwolf was once being considered for release in September 2023, but that the game keeps getting delayed. The game's target release window was then moved to March 2024 a while ago, but it's currently planned to come out next summer at the earliest, it's claimed. However, Grubb also said he thinks it's very likely that the game's release will get pushed back even further, probably to late next year, but possibly to early 2025. EA said in March that BioWare's Mass Effect team had been drafted in to assist with Dragon Age Dreadwolf development, while a small group led by Mike Gamble continued pre-production work on the next entry in the sci-fi series. According to Grubb, the latest layoffs at the studio, other job cuts were announced in June as part of Star Wars The Old Republic's transition to a new development studio, mean that more of Gamble's team will now be reallocated to Dragon Age, resulting in a longer wait for the next Mass Effect.
Bear, bring up that image again from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Oh my God, Jeff Grubb, the ghost of Jeff Grubb. I feel like this is what BioWare must look like right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not going good over there.
Oh, yeah.
It's not going great.
A lot of sad boys and girls there.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's good that Dragon Age isn't coming out this year, right? It's a stacked year for RPGs.
Absolutely.
I think out of any year, especially as a fantasy RPG, like we talk about Starfield coming out close to Baldur's Gate 3. I think something like Dragon Age even has more to lose from coming out the same year and having that direct comparison of, okay, 2 big Western/C RPGs coming out that, are tackling a lot of the same things. How do we compare and contrast? 2024, 2025, right now, as of now, we don't have a big slate of RPGs, at least Western RPGs.
Or just games, period.
Or games, period, right? Like when I think of the games that I'm excited for in the next couple of years, a lot of them are JRPGs, right? A lot of them are things like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Persona 3 Reloaded, Metaphor ReFantasio, games like that. Whereas for the Dragon Age type game, there's not a lot of them coming out soon. Like even the next Witcher, I don't expect the next Witcher anytime soon. Even Witcher 1 remake or whatever, I don't expect these games to come out anytime soon. So I think the 2024-2025 period for Dragon Age Dreadwolf is probably good. The main thing is hopefully it comes out and the game is good, right? Like this is once again us talking about BioWare and BioWare coming off of Mass Effect Andromeda and coming off of Anthem as well. The last Dragon Age people liked, right? Dragon Age Inquisition got Game of the Year at IGN and Game of the Year in other places as well.
Right?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah. 2014?
Yeah, 2014. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's coming off of a previous entry that is good, right? And as long as you do that again, right? As long as you follow that up and bring in the things people like about Dragon Age, then this could be a slam dunk. But you get into the thing of video games have changed within the last 10 years, right? Standards for RPGs have changed within the last 10 years. You're coming off of 2 misses with Anthem and Mass Effect Andromeda. Is this the same Bioware that's going to be able to hit in that way? That's the thing that makes me nervous.
It's definitely not the same. And I think that what they're talking about here about the refocusing the studio and all that is evidence of that. And, as we keep seeing these stories of layoffs over and over happening, and then people ballooning up way too big and then trying to like shed down to be like, all right, we got to fix this at its core of like, what is our studio? What are the games we're trying to make? I think it's important to note that being delayed internally does not mean delayed. Like, I'd imagine every game's delayed internally.
Yeah.
Or at least the majority of games are delayed internally. So, like, this is just leaked information out there from our boy Grubb. But they didn't put a date on this, right? Like, Dreadwolf's never even had like
I don't think it's had a window.
year or anything.
Yeah.
So, it's more just awareness, like we were talking about on yesterday's show, about how early is too early to announce a game, right? And I feel like Dragon Age is an example to me of the type of game that you want people to know we're working on it, and it doesn't really matter how long it's being worked on, because it's more about getting it right than it is about hitting any type of like release date quota or whatever it is. Like, especially with everything you said about where BioWare is as a company right now with their previous projects, like this needs to be a major win. It is interesting that simultaneously they're also working on the next Mass Effect that also needs to be a major win.
And the fact that more of Gamble's team will now be reallocated to Dragon Age, resulting in a longer wait for Mass Effect. I think that's the part of the conversation that we had yesterday about how early is too early to announce a game that gets a bit foggy, right? Because I think in theory, so much of, hey, yeah, like, let us know you're working on Mass Effect, let us know you're working on Dragon Age, right? Like, these are things that we can assume anyway because you're BioWare and these are your franchises. But I feel like so many times, I feel like every time we get a game of this size announced this early on, there becomes a news report that is talking about the internal struggle that they're having on developing the game, right? And if Mass Effect wasn't announced, I'm sure we'd still get this news either way, but now there's this level of, oh man, okay, we're gonna have to wait even longer for Mass Effect, this game that you announced years and years ago. And because we have that visibility that it's happening, that official visibility that is happening, that feels like more of a blow than it should be. I expect, even for any, like, think of any big game right now that's coming out, right? I'll use the next Elder Scrolls as an example. I wouldn't be surprised if in a couple years we get an internal report about what that game is looking like internally.
I mean, dude, information gets information, right? That's how this works. It's the moment somebody knows something, they know where to pull the strings. They know where to look behind the scenes to be able to find stories. So yeah, that is a side of games being announced early. I don't necessarily think it's good or bad overall. I do think that this is a negative headline. Right?
Yeah.
This game keeps getting delayed internally is the headline. Like, that doesn't sound great, but that's game development. That's how these things work. That's not even just game development. That's like project management, right? That's just how things go. So we're kind of putting our lens of BioWare on this whole thing and the industry at large on this thing. And the points you bring up are very valid of Mass Effect and Dragon Age's place in the gaming landscape when there are a lot of big RPGs out there more than ever that are nailing it and filling the hole that BioWare left open a long time ago.
But even like a lot of them that aren't nailing it as well.
I mean, exactly, right? But even ones that aren't nailing it that hopefully are going to nail it. Cyberpunk, the Cyberpunk Phantom Liberty, right? And hey, we also don't know about Phantom Liberty. You did play it, but or Andy, one of you?
I did.
Yeah. So, you're hopeful.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. Like, every time I get reminded that Phantom Liberty is coming out this year and is coming out soon, right? Within the next month, I get very excited. And I think part of that just comes from the fact that Phantom Liberty, one, is coming with a bunch of overhauls for systems in Cyberpunk, but then also with where Cyberpunk is at right now. Actually, let me rewind. Cyberpunk, when it first came out, I enjoyed a lot, right? Like, already, I thought that was a good game. I thought that game was a fun game. It just had a lot of bugs and things here and there that I thought could have been spruced up and better. Now that we're at with Cyberpunk now, where already they fixed up a lot of those things, and Phantom Liberty is coming with the promise of fixing up even more and overhauling even more. Now we're just talking about content. And the content that I played at Summer Game Fest, I thought was good, right? Like, I didn't play enough to go, oh man, this is gonna blow my mind. I didn't even get to the part of meeting Idris Elba yet, but I'm hopeful. I'm excited for it.
Yeah.
And like I think that is off of that, the promise of, hey, we're fixing this, we're making it better, and we might have come out in a very rough state, but now we've proven ourselves over the years.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting, man. Like, there's even looking at this generation's life cycle of where Xbox and PlayStation are, the rise of PC gaming into being a mainstream factor in the conversations that we have that I feel like was not the case even just a few years ago. I feel like there is a home for RPG games, big RPG games on both console and PC, and we're seeing that go both ways with CD Projekt Red being very PC focused in its early days, now kind of seeming balanced between at least wanting to hit day and date on everything, whether or not they run on a PS4. That's a completely different conversation, right? But I feel like that also is pressures of the industry that we were talking about yesterday on the Xbox Series S side of things, of parity across consoles and all of that. But yeah, this news in particular doesn't surprise me. It doesn't even necessarily worry me. The thing that sucks the most is the layoffs. And I feel like, again, the information gets information thing. This was only found out because Jeff was digging after the layoffs and why did this happen? How is this going on? And then it's like, all right, cool. Let's get some info on where this game that is announced is at currently.
Can I ask you a fun question?
Yes, you can.
Or maybe an unfun question.
Uh-oh.
Which game do you think comes out first between the next Mass Effect and the next Elder Scrolls?
Oh, that's a really good question.
And it's funny, the chat's been talking about this too between yesterday and today. They're also including Persona 6 in that conversation as well.
That's a different beast. I was going to include BioShock, but I feel like enough of these are different. I feel like Mass Effect and Elder Scrolls are like the more comparative.
I mean, let's talk about all of them. All right,
sure.
We got some time. Let's fucking do it. Let's start with Persona, just for the fun of it, right? I think that we are closer to Persona 6 than one would assume. I don't know what that means. I think I would not be shocked if 2025 gets announced as the target for Persona 6. Will it hit it? I'm not so sure, but I do think it'll be close. I think early 2026 is the latest that game will come out.
I agree with 2026 being the earliest. I think 2026, 2027.
Oh, I said latest.
Oh, latest. Okay. Yeah, I'm earliest 2026.
Yeah.
Those games take time to make, and also they like to stretch out Persona, right? Persona 5 is still getting new games. Persona 5, what's the game called?
Tactica.
Tactica is coming out.
There's also X,
fucking
which
respect.
is the fucking mobile
game. There's that other thing. And then Persona 3 Reload is coming out next year. How much are they going to stretch that to?
Yeah, the interesting thing, too, is Persona 3 Reload, I think they're doing in a completely different engine than Persona 5. So they're probably, maybe, I'm speculating here, of using that to kind of figure out how to play around with this newer engine for a future game, and having Reload kind of be the big first test in that. My guess would be 2026. It's the 30th anniversary for the franchise. Persona 5 came out for the 20th anniversary, so I think that's probably where they're trying to hit right now, is 2026 for that 30th anniversary and doing all that.
That's a good call.
Because they like to celebrate their anniversaries and in very weird ways, but when they're ready, they like to have the big things for the big tentpole ones. So
now, question on that though. Persona 5, was it announced for the anniversary?
No, I don't believe so.
I remember the original announcement for Persona 5
yeah, it was
where
a bunch of chairs in the color
it was a bunch of
red.
chairs. It definitely wasn't announced for that year because it definitely got delayed.
Yeah,
it was
got delayed
announced
a couple
and then
times.
I think it was announced for the year after that. I think it was 2015.
I'm standing with it.
See,
2025, but it comes out in 2026, which is the anniversary.
Was announced 2013 and was slated for 2014, and then kept getting delayed. So much so to the point that was originally only supposed to be a PS3 game, and then launched in
2017 in the US.
2016, 2017 in the US as
and
a
came
PS4
out
game
on PS3 still.
It still came out on
Which
PS3,
is wild
which
to
I
think
fucking
about.
respect.
That's really wild to think about.
Persona 5?
Persona 5, came out on PS3.
The base Persona 5 game you can play on a PS3.
That totally blanks my mind. Wow. Good
That's
for
how
them.
far that game got delayed out.
Good for them. Good for them. Moving on to, do we think Mass Effect, the next Mass Effect, or Elder Scrolls 6 comes out first?
I think the tough thing here, or the context to bring in, would be the fact that Starfield and Elder Scrolls are the same team, right? Like both of those. I mean, obviously they're both Bethesda game studios, but I believe that's the same like entire crew. I think that's an all hands on deck situation for both those games. Whereas Mass Effect and Dragon Age are different teams within BioWare, and so, but like a lot of that team is getting pulled on to Dragon Age. But theoretically, like Mass Effect is already in some form of development, whereas Elder Scrolls is probably in the earliest forms. Both the games early development, right?
I think we see Mass Effect next, or Mass Effect first before Elder Scrolls. And then
I agree with that.
What was the other game that we were talking about?
I brought up BioShock.
Yeah, BioShock to me is such a nebulous factor where it's like it could come out next March.
Yeah.
Surprise, motherfuckers! Or it could come out 5 years from now, or it could never come out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised for any of those. The two things that I think that people will just be like, Tim, you're a fucking moron for saying this, but I stand by it. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, I think is going to hit early next year. Yep. Like, I think it's not going to get delayed. And more than that, I think Kingdom Hearts 4 is coming way sooner than people
expect. That's a good one to bring in.
Way sooner, baby.
Oh.
I think next year is very, very, very unlikely.
Yeah.
But
you think next year is a possibility?
I do.
I do. Insane person.
I fucking do, man.
You're a madman.
Things out, man. They're pumping these things out. They're not the square they used to be.
Kingdom Hearts 4 coming out the same year as Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything beyond a pizza bet that we can do?
Look, I'm not betting on it.
Like, what's bigger than a pizza, chat? 2 pizzas?
What's bigger than a pizza?
3 pizzas?
Yeah, no, I'm not saying it's going to come next year. I don't think that's the case.
Yeah.
I do think that it's a possibility, though.
So but that sounds like you're thinking 2025.
I am. Yeah, man. Look, they announced it like a while back now, right? It was the beginning of last year, I want to say.
Oh, yeah, it was a while ago. Fuck, that was a wild trailer, too. I forgot.
It was, man. It exists.
It exists in somebody's mind for sure.
I mean, there was gameplay in that trailer,
quote unquote gameplay.
Yeah, but look, I'm going back to Final Fantasy VII remake, the first one, when they first announced that game, and then like months later there was like gameplay trailer at PSX, and it was like, what the fuck? And then they kind of went quiet for a long time, a lot of development issues, whatever, and then they came back and the game actually came out. Kingdom Hearts 3 had a very similar thing of like being announced and then
how long did it take between announcement and release?
Long ass time, man. It was
because it was what, 2014, 2015?
I think it was 2013 that at E3.
For Kingdom Hearts 4 or Kingdom Hearts 3?
I think so. It was the same one that Final Fantasy 15 was officially announced as Final Fantasy 15 when they killed Versus 13.
And then when did that game come out? Kingdom Hearts 3? Like 20.
Fuck, man.
I'm usually great with dates.
Yeah,
Kingdom
me too.
Hearts 3 is just a figment of my imagination. I still don't believe that game came out.
Kingdom Hearts 3 came out in 2019, January 2019. Whoa. Yeah. So I don't know, man. I think Square's like tightening their shit up recently. Like I am shocked that Final Fantasy VII Remake came out and was good.
Yeah.
And then they announced Rebirth as soon as they did. And that it seems to be on track to come out as soon as it seems to be.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Kingdom Hearts 4.
We'll see, man.
Remember this, everybody.
We'll see. I think we get another trailer for it. Debut it or not debut it, but give another trailer at D23 next year. Let me host. And then have the game come out 2026. That's my prediction.
Yeah. That's the safest prediction.
Yeah.
You know?
Especially the part about me hosting. Let me host.
I love that. Let bless host, everybody. I've been saying it since day one. You know what else I've been saying since day one? You should go to patreon.com/kindafunny. It's a great value for everybody. You don't get to see ads, but for everybody else, here's a word from our sponsors. This episode is brought to you by BetterHelp. We all know life can be hard. It's so easy to get caught up in what everyone else needs from you and never take a moment to think about what you need from yourself. I know from experience how often it just seems easier to care about others and keep it moving. But when we spend all of our time giving, it can leave us feeling stretched thin and burned out. Therapy can give you the tools to find more balance in your life so you can keep supporting others without leaving yourself behind. Some of my best friends use BetterHelp and love love how helpful it can be for learning positive coping skills and how to set boundaries. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapist anytime for no additional charge. For more balance with BetterHelp, visit BetterHelp.com/KindaFunny today and get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/KindaFunny, BetterHelp.com/KindaFunny. And we're back with story number 2. Just story number 2. We're having fun today. God of War Ragnarok DLC is reportedly in the works. It's reported by Zarmina Khan at PlayStation Lifestyle. A new report claims that God of War Ragnarok is getting DLC or an expansion. This information comes from famous insider The Snitch and has taken many by surprise because Sony Santa Monica Studio previously indicated that DLC is unlikely. According to The Snitch via Reset Era, the DLC is about 60% through development and isn't scheduled for release this year. Thank God. They don't know if it's a standalone expansion or not, but from the sound of things, it's a meaty piece of content. Interestingly, Tyr voice actor Ben Prendergast said back in March that God of War Ragnarok isn't the last you've seen of Tyr. While this led to speculations of Tyr appearing in a new game, some were convinced Prendergast was referring to DLC of some sort. We previously shared the Snitch leaks with a degree of confidence, but it's worth noting that the Twitter account in question has changed hands, and the current insider is not the same as the original Snitch.
The fuck?
Who the fuck has this inside info on the insider?
There's Snitch lore happening
Who
right now?
snitches on the Snitch?
Dude, you know what they say about snitches.
That said, the new leaker...
I think the first one got stitches.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so they had to replace him.
That said, the new leaker still has a pretty decent track record as they accurately leaked Rise of the Ronin details and were one of the first to report that Metal Gear Solid Master Collection's multi-plat amid speculation that it was exclusive to PS5. Make of this what you will.
I'm not making anything of it. I don't know if I believe this.
You know what? I want to make something of it.
Yeah?
Just because I want this. I don't think it's DLC. And I don't think it's DLC because you look at Spider-Man and Insomniac and their DLC. And we talk about this a lot recently of like, the DLC didn't set the world on fire. Nobody ever talks about it. And if they do, it's negative. Even though it wasn't that bad, it just wasn't that great.
Yeah.
You know, I had fun playing more Spider-Man, but I feel like that's all that it gave me. And I feel like I enjoyed some of the Black Cat story elements and the Miles elements that they had in there, and that was cool. But I feel like when the general gaming populace is talking about the Spider-Man DLC, they're talking about the memes. They're talking about the hammerhead looking goofy and all that stuff. I feel like in comparison, you look at Miles Morales and that was a win. You look at Uncharted Lost Legacy, that was a win. I feel like Sony Santa Monica has the skills and talent to do something like that. If they're saying it's 60% complete here, they want to put something out that's going to get reviewed by GameSpot and IGN, that they can put awards on and all that stuff, right? Not like, and DLC doesn't get the same treatment for whatever reason. That's just how it goes.
Yeah.
But a standalone game that they could sell, there's excitement there. There's the property of God of War that everybody fucking loves, and there's the team to back it up. And more than that, there's countless things that I would want to play more of in that universe that don't need a full game to do.
But I also think it comes with a lot more work is the thing, right? Because like the other example I'll bring in is Horizon Forbidden West and that DLC, which I've already forgotten what that DLC is called. So let me know.
Burning Shores.
Burning Shores. Thank you. I had such a good time in that DLC, but that DLC was short enough and concise enough to where you wouldn't warrant a full game, even a $40 game. Like, no, that wouldn't be big enough for that. And with a God of War Ragnarok DLC, what is the expectation / what do they have the bandwidth to make and do? Because God of War, that's a lot of work to make one of those, right? That's a lot. If you're creating new environments, if you're creating a cast of new characters, if you're doing the things that a standalone, even a $40 standalone God of War game demands, that's a lot of work. Whereas if you are just making more content to put a game that is already out, right? And say you are centering it, and this is me trying to speak this into existence because like I want this, right? If you center it around, let's say, a different character like Thrud, Thor's daughter, spoilers. If you do that and like really push that as a thing and give her Mjolnir and, you know, find gameplay there that isn't necessarily too much of a departure from core God of War Ragnarok, but is enough to like get people in for an additional, let's say 8 hours, 10 hours, then I think you have something there that people get excited about. They come in, they come out, give you their money, and it might not win the end of year awards, but you know, like you put out more content that make people fall in love with this franchise more. And it's that weird balance to it.
You know, you bringing up Burning Shores does kind of change my thought process a little bit. I did forget about that one. And then there's Ghost Legends, right? That was how would you define that? In the
I wouldn't call it the.
Let's bucket these, all right?
Okay.
The Miles Morales, Lost Legacy, the Spider-Man 3-part DLC, Ghost Legends, and Burning Shores.
Okay.
How many buckets are there, and where do they go?
See, Ghost Shima Legends, I think, is not even in a bucket. I think that is just its own unique. We added in an entire new mode to this thing that is different from the core gameplay. Like, I think technically you would call that DLC, but I think it's even more than that in a way that you would just call that a unicorn situation.
Okay, cool. So bucket 1.
Yeah, I think that's bucket 1 is those unicorns. I think bucket 2 is DLC, right? Spider-Man, City That Never Sleeps, Horizon, Burning Shores.
So you would put Burning Shores in that same category?
Yes, 1,000%, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. And then the other bucket is
Miles Morales and Lost Legacy.
Yeah, like standalone game that like I feel like we used to call that like a standalone expansion, but that doesn't even feel right to call a Miles Morales because like that is a game, right? It just costs less and is smaller scoped. So I don't know the right name for that, but yeah, Miles. I would even put maybe even Infamous First Light in there too. I think that's maybe the first instance of PlayStation doing that in the PS4 era.
I love it, man.
Yeah.
I want that.
And I like those.
That's what I want from God of War, and I think that they could do it. And you're making a lot of solid points about how much work it takes. And all
it's a lot of work.
God of War, man. Like, Uncharted Lost Legacy is a lot of work too, but they did it. That was Naughty Dog.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But like that, I mean, yeah. But that was, how long was Uncharted Lost Legacy? Like that was a full game. That is one of my favorite Uncharted games, if not maybe my favorite Uncharted game. Like,
I think it was like 8 hours.
Oh, it had to be more than 8 hours, right?
Let me look it up. I remember it
like
being
10 to 12.
similar in length to the first Uncharted.
Okay. I mean, Rayman in chat also says 8 hours.
It felt
And
like
Rayman never lies.
But I would love that from God of War, and I feel like they could do it. I feel like they could pull it off. But
I hope so, because I would love that too.
Yeah. Let us know in the comments below if you would like that, everyone. Story number 3, Last of Us TV series co-creator has no issue with spin-offs. HowLongToBeat.com has it at 7 hours.
Fuck, I might replay that.
just for fun,
That's an afternoon, dude.
Yeah. That's
literally longer than an afternoon.
That's an afternoon,
That's a
dude.
dope little afternoon. That's a stream and a half.
That's a stream and a half.
What's the is there a PS5 version of it?
Of Lost Legacy, I believe. Yeah, Uncharted Thieves Collection.
Yes.
Shit.
Yeah.
That had 4 and Lost Legacy in it.
Uncharted Lost Legacy. That's what it is, right? Yeah. Lost Legacy was the first game that Gia ever walked in and saw me playing and like audibly gasped, where she was like, I didn't understand video games were this. And
Yeah.
I'm like, that's pretty fucking
God,
cool.
they're so
really
good
cool.
looking. Like those 4 in Lost Legacy, man. Beautiful games.
Legacy of Thieves is what the collection is.
Yes. So yeah, story number 3, Last of Us TV series co-creator has no issue with spin-offs in principle. This comes from Victoria Kennedy at Eurogamer. Craig Mazin, showrunner and co-creator of HBO's The Last of Us, is open to series spin-offs in principle. Speaking to The Wrap, Mazin stated that the team hadn't spoken about spin-offs themselves, as everyone keeps their focus on the game's main narratives of Joel and Ellie. However, while the showrunner may not be dipping his toe into the spin-off waters anytime soon, he's not against the idea of other shows that may draw from these characters or that world. I don't know how much more The Last of Us I personally would be able to do. I mean, these shows are so big, I'm sort of burning one of the precious few remaining decades I have on telling this story.
Damn, that's dark.
That's
really dark.
That is a freaking line, everybody.
Listen, I'm burning one of the few decades I have left. That kind of funny.
Yeah,
you know?
you really are, dude. We're here.
I gotta go
We're doing it
skydiving or
together,
some
baby.
shit. Let's take back the night.
But in principle, I have no issue with it whatsoever, and I'm sure Neil would be interested as well. Continuing with this train of thought, Mazin said if there was a story to tell in this world and it made sense to tell it, then he didn't see why not. However, he said that if a spinoff does eventually manifest, he'd want it to be approached with the same care and respect and love as the HBO team has shown to its own series.
Fear the Last of Us.
Fear the Last of Us. And look, here.
We've talked about this.
We have.
A lot.
And I think that it's extremely different than that. I feel like we're... I can't believe I'm saying this in the state of where we're at right now, where entertainment is with the strikes and everything. But I do feel like we are in an era that is post mistakes when it comes to the initial jump into the streaming franchising of every single thing and like overdoing it all, and Walking Dead going from the biggest thing in the world to just the most thing in the world, where it's just like constantly there, and still is, by the way. Daryl Dixon's in Paris.
I know. They're putting out a video game. That's the first 4 seasons of the TV show.
Negan and what's her name?
I have no idea what this
Martha.
is.
No, oh fuck! It starts with him. I can't believe I'm blanking on this. Anyway,
Errol?
that show's already out.
Wait, Negan has a show?
Yeah.
What's it
City of
called?
the Walking Dead. Maggie. Thank you.
No
way. I wasn't too far off.
Negan and Maggie have a show?
Yeah.
What happened?
Oh, she was Martha
She was Martha in the movie?
in Batman v Superman.
See, I said Martha because I knew he played the dad. That's fucking funny.
Wait.
Hold on, am I wrong? Look, hey.
The actor who plays Negan, I'm pretty sure is the one who plays.
Yes. And she was Martha. Yeah.
Oh shit.
Well, what's the relationship in the Negan Maggie show? They better be enemies.
They're just trying to get along.
I'm not getting along
Yo,
with
there's
somebody
a lot.
You killed fucking Glenn in front of me.
I know.
His eyeballs popped out, bro.
That was like 7 seasons ago.
No, we don't get over
ago.
that. We don't get over that.
gotta
I don't care how
figure
many
it.
seasons it's been. We're throwing hands.
There was
It's
an
on
alpha.
site.
There was whisperers.
Why is Negan still alive?
Dude, it's a whole thing.
Why didn't they
man.
kill him?
They killed Lucille. The
No,
bat.
that's a bat. You
killed
can't
it.
kill
It was
Lucille.
very violent.
Lucille's in. Who's in the helicopter, by the way? Did we ever figure that?
They're still working on that.
No
They're
way.
still working on that. Yeah, there's going to be a Rick and Michonne show. Bless.
Okay, well that I knew. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's been in the works for like a very
that'll
long
address
time.
the helicopter.
Rick also died, but didn't die, right?
He didn't die. He's in the helicopter. Anyways, Walking Dead has had some highs, had some lows, and like all jokes aside, I know a couple people that are still watching every single thing Walking Dead puts out, and like there's some like points of like, oh, this season was really good, and then it'll be followed up with trash. But then it's like,
Yeah, but like that was me with Arrow on like season 5,
yeah,
where it's like
100%.
this is done.
yes. But I feel like Last of Us and HBO have learned a lesson from that. And they're not going to just make spin-offs and shows of every single thing that's successful without trying to at least make sure that they're taking the right steps with it. And I think House of the Dragon from Game of Thrones is a great example of that. Game of Thrones being a show that, I mean, there are very few things, period, that were bigger than Game of Thrones. And the public understanding is that the last season, at very least, of that show was not good.
Yeah.
But then House of the Dragon came out and fucking kicked ass, right? And won a bunch of awards and people loved it. It's because there was a story to tell there and people actually cared, and the love and respect was put towards making it not just to make money, but to make something great. And I feel like they know that they have something special with Last of Us, and I don't see them running it into the ground in a bad way. I see them running into the ground in a smart, strategic way because of how many mistakes Disney Plus and all the other streaming platforms have made in the last couple of years. I also don't think that this is going to happen anytime soon, given the strikes and given where everything is at.
Yeah.
And the focus on Last of Us Season 2 being obviously the big ticket item that is going to be incredible. And that's not even going to be one season. It's going to be multiple seasons. So.
And it sounds like, I mean, Craig wants to be involved in that. And so if Craig is doing it, I don't think he'd want to split his efforts between Last of Us proper and then a Last of Us spin-off thing. Like, I would think that you would do one at a time. Maybe like catch up to the game finally, whether that's 3 seasons or 4 seasons or whatever, and then start to figure out, all right, cool. And like, now that we've done this story, what are the other stories we can tell in this world? And I think people would be interested in that. Like, for me, I would be interested in that, and somebody who really likes The Last of Us, and somebody who usually for a Walking Dead spin-off type thing, immediately once they announced Fear the Walking Dead, I didn't want to hear anything about it. Like, I didn't want to know anything. I just wanted to pretend that it didn't exist because I do not have the bandwidth to focus on all these things at once. Yeah, like a Last of Us spin-off show, I really like that world. I think there's so much you can do with the way in which The Last of Us presents its stories and the way, like, the types of stories that The Last of Us chooses to tell. You know, I think this IP does such worthwhile stuff with post-apocalyptic / zombies, even though I know they're not zombies, but zombie fiction, that I don't think I would get tired of it if they did a spin-off. If they did 2 spin-offs and 3 spin-offs, then we're talking about like, okay, this is getting oversaturated. And like you said with HBO, I don't think that would get there. I wouldn't count it out because, like, you know, these companies change as things go, right? So if like an HBO right now is doing it right, that doesn't mean an HBO 4 years from now is doing it right as well.
Just like that.
But hey, like, for what Craig Mazin is talking about, I'm down. Like, I think that sounds cool.
Yeah, that was a Sex and the City joke for y'all. Story number 4, Baldur's Gate 3's first major patch is out now, and its second one is coming soon. This comes from Tom Ivan at VGC. Larian Studios has released the first major update for Baldur's Gate 3. According to the studio, patch 1 addresses over 1,000 bugs, balancing flow issues, and much, much more. So what can you expect from this update? Well, we've eliminated issues like NPCs who sometimes spot you when they really shouldn't be able to, floating items like mugs and newspapers that should abide the laws of gravity, and the conclusion to Shadowheart's romance scene not triggering for some players, among others. Patch 1 also tackles a few visual bugs, and sprinkles on more post-launch polish. We're bringing back Short King Summer with better kissing contact for short races.
No, just keep reading.
But also really quick, I feel like maybe the Shadowheart thing not triggering was, like the game trying to tell people, like, don't.
Yeah, maybe she's not interested in you.
Maybe she's not
Maybe
interested
she's
in you.
just like,
maybe
you're not my type.
she's a little
But
bit
also,
too racist.
Here's the thing. Knowing Shadowheart, like, Shadowheart will get down with anybody. Like, let's be real about Shadowheart. Karlach has a bit more, like, she's a bit more reserved. Karlach is a bit more picky choosy. The first time Shadowheart had a chance to jump at me, she did. Right? If Shadowheart, like, listen, I get where this is coming from. I get it. You know what I mean?
We're bringing back
Andy
Short
knows.
King Summer with better kissing contact for short races. Players won't have to wait long for Patch 2, which is right around the corner and will feature significant performance improvements due to be detailed at a later date. Larian has also said it's planning to introduce the ability for players to change the way that their character looks mid-game.
Cool. This is awesome.
Yeah.
I love that Baldur's Gate 3, it launched in such a good place that they can joke about some of the bugs. Like, they're like, oh yeah, some of these things are floating around, and like, our short kings can't kiss the tall queens. Like, let's figure this shit out, right? Like, they can joke about it.
This is the important things.
They can joke about it in their patch notes in a way that, like, if this is Fallout 76, or if this was Anthem, or if this was Cyberpunk in the first months of launch, right? Like, you could not joke about that shit, right? The patch notes were more so, hey, we're doing our best. Like, we're working on this shit. We're working overtime. Like, we're trying to figure all this stuff out. Like, there's a very different tone from those kinds of patch notes from these patch notes where it's like, yeah, some things float around sometimes. We're figuring it out. We're fixing it. We got you guys. You'll be able to kiss your tall queens.
Yeah.
Good for you.
You excited about that, Bless?
I mean, I didn't have that bug because my king is an average guy above average height.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, average height above average guy. That's what it was. My character,
I'm just an average guy.
my character is a tall 5'8", and so he doesn't have these issues. I think they're more so thinking about like the dwarves and stuff like that. Yeah, my king. Yeah, his neck only needs to tilt like a little bit upwards.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. Yeah. He's not on his tippy. He's not on his tippy toes.
It's just a little boost. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a little like
He just gets picked up every once
it's like
in
a
while,
giraffe eating an apple from a tree.
Yes, exactly.
It's a little stretch.
Story number 5, and this one is hilarious to me. Barrett, if you could please show the teaser here. Project Mugen Gamescom reveal is Cyberpunk meets Genshin Impact.
Have you seen this trailer?
I have.
Okay, cool.
This comes from Taylor Lyles at IGN. After teasing the game a few days prior, NetEase Games and Naked Rain's cool.
Naked Rain's really cool.
Have announced Project Mugen, am I saying that right? A free-to-play urban open-world RPG that looks like a fusion of Cyberpunk and Genshin Impact. An announcement trailer showed an anime-inspired art style and several playable characters traversing the in-game world with movements and exploration bearing resemblance to no game we have ever seen before.
Wait, pause
What?
there.
I'm sorry,
Pause
what?
there and rewind.
That's not what was said. I added that. It actually says,
okay.
sorry, I read it wrong, bearing resemblance to the Insomniac-developed Spider-Man games.
I don't know if that's bearing resemblance other than just straight up fucking stealing.
Just plagiarism.
Stealing animations.
Look at this. First of all, this game looks cool. Second of all, wow, there's a lawsuit. Like, again, go back to the swinging animation. You can't tell me that this isn't Miles Morales. Like, the jump. Like
the points, even like
it's one.
Yeah,
for
the
one
jumping
Spider-Man.
off to get more momentum, the running on the wall,
running,
the jumping off the wall,
the same kind of twists and turns.
Dude, that's insane.
Project Mugen does not have a release date, but NetEase and Naked Rain did announce it as open pre-registration for those interested in playing, and that it's coming to PlayStation, PC, and mobile devices. I love that when I said it has no resemblance to games, you guys got so upset.
I was really about to fight the
you.
integrity of whoever wrote that. You really got me, Tim.
That was my bad. That was totally just me.
That's so fucking
I mean, yeah, well, couple things. This looks fucking awesome.
It looks incredible.
But it also just looks like a rip off to a degree that, like, I am shocked they were comfortable showing this.
I'm shocked that they did it because everything else in the trailer looks pretty original and looks really cool. Like this strikes me as a like I played a lot of Genshin Impact, right? And Genshin Impact, a lot of it felt very much, oh, we're going for Breath of the Wild, right? But we're also doing it in a way that puts this in more of like a mobile space / gotcha space / we are going for that mass market appeal. We're going to get anybody in here as possible. And so like, we're going to add in all of the different mechanics that you like and all the different systems that you like out of your favorite games. We're going to add in systems where you can go out and have like tea dates with characters. We're going to add in like, again, like the Breath of the Wild. So we're going to add in an anime art style. We're ticking down the list of things that we know people love and are going to sell video games. And guess what? Genshin Impact is one of the most popular games on the planet. This, oh my God, they're shooting in this game.
Whoa, what the fuck?
I missed that part of the trailer. This, I think, is doing the same thing to a different extent where, yeah, Spider-Man is one of the most popular single-player action games, right? At least for PlayStation. Everybody loves the swinging in Spider-Man, and you look at the other things going on in this game, and it's like, yeah, the action combat looks fun, right? Like the art style again is going for that similar thing as Genshin, even though it leans more toward like the Zen Zero side of things, Zenless Zone Zero side of things. The Spider-Man thing, I think, is very much them going, this is going to sell copies, so we should let people know. Like, we should show people the fact that if you like Spider-Man, guess what? You're going to get to play Spider-Man in this game where you can get to do a million other things too as well.
Abe Froman in the chat said, goddamn, Xbox can't even get the Spider-Man ripoff game. Damn.
God damn.
Damn. But, I mean, there's a lot going on here that looks cool as hell. But yeah, it's weird. I'm really weird. I'm a little surprised, like, because I know we can look at games and be like, oh, it looks like Breath of the Wild. This is like, that's straight up Spider-Man. Like,
oh yeah,
in a
almost illegal sense.
Like, yeah, like it looks more like a mod of Spider-Man than it looks like an original game.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah.
Well, interesting.
You excited?
What's up?
You excited to play it?
I'm very excited to play it. I love the gameplay of Spider-Man.
Yeah.
But I'm very interested on if they're going to be sued. But finding that out, seems so far away. If I want to know what's coming to mom and grop shops today, where would I look?
You would look toward the official list of upcoming software across each and every platform as listed by the KindaFunny Games Daily Show hosts each and every weekday.
Yeah.
Out today, Armored Core 6. Fires of Rubicon, the best name for a video game of all time. Coming to PS5, Xbox Series XS, and PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC.
Like
I didn't realize it was on PS4. That's crazy.
Which is wild. Every word in that title is cool. Mm-hmm. Armored Core Fires.
A Roman numeral.
Rubicon. A Roman numeral
Real
6.
Roman numeral 6, one of the coolest Roman numerals.
You like it more than the 4?
I do.
Really? You like the I after the V than before it?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm more of a 7 guy myself.
Yeah.
Or like 11.
See, I'm not a fan
X
of
and
8.
I.
Too many eyes.
Once we get too many eyes, then it's like, okay, we're doing a lot. But like once you get into the X numbers, 16?
Woo! XVI, you kidding me?
XVI? Yeah. Or even like 14, XIV?
I mean, dude, my first Final Fantasy was 10. Just straight up Final Fantasy X.
God damn,
Come
dude.
the fuck on,
That's
man.
ridiculous.
New dates for you. Excitebike 60. No, I didn't. There was other stuff coming out. Dawn Dualities on PC. And there's something else coming out today, everyone. The Skull and Bones closed beta.
Finally.
What?
Skull and Bones closed beta, everybody. The Ubisoft pirate ship game.
Is that true?
Is that true?
It is true, yeah. From the 25th to the 28th of August.
How did we know this?
Jesus says I'm in the beta.
It's invitation only.
The chat is blowing up saying, what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's a closed beta trailer like a week ago.
If you're playing the open beta for Skull and Bones, I need you to write into KFGD with your thoughts. KindaFunny.com/KFGD. Because I want to know.
We got Mike coming in right now. Are you playing Skull and Bones, Mike?
He said he can't confirm.
Wow.
Oh.
Wow, there's some shit we didn't know going on here.
Is there an embargo with the closed beta?
New days for you.
How that works.
We have Excitebike 64 coming to Nintendo Switch.
They're probably
online. Expansion pack members on August 30th. Wandering Sword launches September 15th on PC. Call of the Wild, The Angler, is coming to Xbox and PlayStation on August 30th. And then Headbangers launches on October 31st on Xbox Series, PS5, Switch, and PC.
You're familiar with Headbangers,
Is that
right?
the Rhythm Battle Royale?
Yeah, it looks really cool. Are you not excited for Excitebike 64?
You know, I'm excited to play it for like 20 minutes or so.
Yeah.
I was never the biggest Excitebike guy to begin with. And Excitebike 64, I didn't like the more realistic look that they went for.
Bear, can you play this with sound? Because like I love that the Nintendo Twitter account tweeted this out. because I legit thought this was the actual trailer from back in the day until I got to the end.
You'll have to unleash your energy.
Oh my god.
What the hell?
Wreak havoc with your crew in local or online multiplayer. Land extreme jumps.
I didn't know Nintendo did this.
Radical bumps. Come on. And death-defying stunts. To show life you've got what it takes to
They don't normally.
Honestly, good for them. Good for them having
Like,
fun.
I legit was like, oh, they re-uploaded the trailer, and then they said online. I was like, I don't think they had online.
Yeah, people liked this a lot. It wasn't my favorite though. I never owned it. I remember renting it a couple times, but yeah, I'm excited to give it a shot now. Maybe I'll learn what I was wrong about so many years ago.
I had a neighbor. It wasn't Freddie. It wasn't Addison. Both of them were my neighbors, but they're,
Of course, yeah.
you know, Addison was my next, or no, sorry, Freddie was my next door neighbor who I played like Star Wars Battlefront with. And he had an Xbox, so I also played like Blinks the Time Super with. And then Addison let me borrow all of his games, and he's responsible for my video game taste. He had an SNES and a PlayStation 2. I had another neighbor. I think his name was Chris or Cameron. It was a C. He had a C name. But he also had an N64. And he had Excite Bike, and I played it once in his place, and I thought it was really cool. This one time, though.
Tell me about Addison.
No, this is Chris. Or no, Cameron? No,
Cornelius.
definitely not Cornelius. Let's go with Chris. One time, I brought over my controller so that we had multiple controllers, right? Because I also had an N64, and we were playing multiplayer games. And I went home, and I realized I forgot my controller, and I was like, "Ah, shoot, I can't play games." So I went back, knocked on his door. They were home. Tim, you know what I did? I opened the door to his house. Apparently, they just didn't lock the door. So I was like, I'll just walk in and get my controller. I walked in, grabbed the controller, and then went home. And then like a week later, I went to hang out with him again. And his parents were like, hey, you can't just walk into our house. We have cameras. Don't just walk into our house. I was like 8 years old, Tim. Just fucking broke into this house to get back my N64 controller.
The heist of a lifetime, everybody.
God,
This is my best work.
You're it's your best work.
My best heist. I was doing more heists than Ice-T, God damn it.
Oh man, I freaking love it. Now it's time for KindaFunny.com/you're wrong, where you can correct us when we get stuff wrong. But since it's me and Bless, tough luck, motherfuckers.
Tough luck.
Bander SN says Ghost of Tsushima had an actual DLC expansion in the director's cut called Iki Island.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
And then yeah, that was it. We nailed it.
Really quick, Bless. With them getting down to Excite Bike, we got to be close to DK64. Right? We got to be close,
I would think
man.
that DK64, I would think would be above the list before Excite Bike. So
yeah.
I don't think we're getting DK64.
Yo,
Why,
Talk.
though?
How is
Oh,
DK64 not there yet?
I don't know. I know people are like, but it was made by Rare, so it's like complicated. No, that's not the case.
Yeah.
Because they easily put it up on their own on the Wii U. I had that game on the fucking Wii U.
Played on the Wii
And all
U.
the Donkey Kong Country games are there, which by the way,
But also, it does have Jetpack in it. DK64 does have Jetpack, which is a Rare game.
yeah, okay.
But like,
That's-
still, they released it on the Wii U though, and they released that on the Wii U when Rare was owned by Xbox.
has there been an expansion pack required N64
Oh, I'm
game?
positive. Yes.
Oh, Majora's Mask.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Majora's Mask.
All right. Well, then shit. Yeah, I don't fucking get it. Then it's really weird.
8-bit Louise, I'm
somebody-
banning you from the chat. 'cause
Someone called me out. I think it was Cozy Bear. There was like, hey, how come Tim talks shit about Donkey Kong Country 3 any chance he gets when he loves the other games? And I really took that to heart. I saw that and I was like, you know
Why?
what? I need to go back and give that game a shot. Because like I really do not like that game. And I love the rest of the Donkey Kong Country. So maybe not this weekend because there's a lot going on, but I owe it to you, Cozy Bear. I'm going to give DKC3 another shot.
Do DK64 while you're doing
Well, if Nintendo would give it to me.
Also, really quick, when was the Jared Gary episode? Was that Monday?
Monday, yeah.
Jesus.
They were
that
talking a
feels like-
lot of shit about the list.
Yeah, they were talking a lot of shit about your guys' list of best platformers.
About our list.
Yes.
Mostly,
you know,
I mean, they didn't say my list particular, but I'm pretty sure it was my list.
it was a lot of
'Cause
blessings list.
everybody-
This kind of fucking sucked, Bless.
Listen, okay, because
Just by
also-
rules.
listen,
Jared was like, you know what? No Donkey Kong Country game is good. They're all mid.
I would like to see Jared's list because Jared's gonna have like some fucked up like Atari
Ooh,
2400 games
Joust.
on there. Oh, this
I love
this is
Joust.
much better than Donkey Kong 64 or what DK Country or whatever the fuck. He's gonna have the nerdy ass platforms.
It was one of those
that
things.
nobody
I was
played.
so happy to see Jared that morning. It had been a while. I have not seen Jared in a long time. I was like really happy to just like see him and hang out with my buddy. And then like those words came out of his mouth like an hour and a half later. I was like, fuck, I forgot that somehow you have worse takes than me sometimes. And that was a lot. That was a lot emotionally that Monday morning.
I bet he'd have like Blaster Master on there.
His list,
Jared Petty.
Jared Petty's
Goddamn.
list would be fucking terrible.
What
I'll
is
tell
your
you
list,
now.
Jared? Reveal
drop,
the list.
Drop the list. And we let us judge it. We'll make a whole shit list.
We'll do a shit
shit list episode on your list, Jared, if you drop your top 10 platforms.
Oh, I love that. That's a threat.
Yeah. It's a promise.
Let us know in the comments below how much you think Jared Petty's list is going to fucking suck ass. You know what I'm talking about?
I know exactly what you're talking about.
I love you, Jared. Next week's host, we got Greg and me on Monday. We got Greg and Bless on Tuesday. Bless and Greg on Wednesday. Bless and Paris Lily on Thursday. And me and Bless on Friday.
Thursday, that's interesting.
Super, super cool. Is that interesting?
I mean, what's Paris doing here on Thursday, you know?
Oh, gotcha. We got Thursday, we have Friday. There's a lot of days next week, Bless.
Yeah.
And Paris will be here for some of them.
I'm just saying, what's lining up with that?
I don't know.
Nobody could know.
Nobody can know.
Nobody could know.
I can't know anything. I'm going to keep saying things because next week has a lot of days, everybody, and anything can happen at any moment. I love you all. Goodbye.